Hello, everybody. My name is Santi. I'm your host today. Welcome back to Out of Office if you're watching this on YouTube, or Latin Vibes if you're watching this live on Twitch. Today's episode is going to be a special one. Why? Because I didn't bring a guest. I usually do, but not today. Today, we're going to do things a little bit differently, and I want to appreciate, or actually, not appreciate, I want to take advantage of the fact that I'm doing this alone to talk about loneliness, or not loneliness, but rather solitude. I talked about this with a friend, or maybe it was family, I don't remember. But I talked about how loneliness and happiness aren't really emotions, in my opinion. They're more states of being, you know? Like, for example, I'm alone right now, but I don't feel lonely because I've been by myself enough to understand that it's not a bad thing and that being able to talk freely without having to wait for somebody else to give an opinion or seeing where they steer things can actually be something pretty positive. Same thing with love. Love isn't a feeling. A lot of songs and movies that we watch say, hey, I love this person, or I love this, I love that, or I'm falling in love. And to a certain extent, yes, but I think we got it mixed up with excitement and all those emotions that come with getting to know somebody new. Maybe starting to catch feelings for that person, something like that. Like, for example, I watched 13 Going 30 yesterday. It was a really enjoyable movie, but it was also very unrealistic, you know? We skipped so many important parts of adolescence and young adulthood that would really give her that maturity. And in case you guys haven't seen that movie, I'm not going to spoil it. It's been around for over 20 years, but might have not watched it. It was my first time watching it yesterday, and it impacted me because it made me think about what is realistic or what emotions we choose not to acknowledge. What of anxiety and fear, for example, or loneliness. You know, in that whole movie, there were very few times when she was alone. But being alone is something completely natural, completely normal, even. We are alone most of the time. I mean, we're not born alone, we're born with family. But for a lot of our existence, of our lives, we are just with ourselves. Even if you're sleeping next to somebody, for example, the last thought that you have is usually by yourself. And that's why loneliness, or not loneliness, but being alone and knowing how to be alone is important, in my opinion. And it ties into the theme of the last few videos that I've recorded on the show, on this YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, which talk about mental health. And not just mental health, but spiritual health. In my opinion, if you believe in one religion or another, it doesn't make too much of a difference because it's all about the spirit. Whether you're Catholic or Christian, for example, which are similar but really aren't. I mean, take this example. Like, think about it like this: in Colombia, where I'm from, or was it in Colombia? I'm not sure if it was in Colombia, but somewhere in the world, Catholics and Christians went to war with each other, even though they believe in similar things with some differences, some key differences. They still go to war with each other. And what I'm trying to say with that is religions are different, of course. They have different beliefs, different stories, different ways of seeing things. But at their core, they all tie into spirituality and believing that there's something beyond. And that's what I've really been trying to show on this show, because it's important. And it's something that I feel is being more talked about lately, but that I still think needs a push, needs a bit of a hey, let's do this, whatever, you know. I'm talking about my perspective as a young adult and somebody who recently went through a lot of school and interacting with a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and seeing that even though spirituality is very present, especially in the immigrant community, I'd say. Take, for example, the Caribbean or Latin America, very Christian countries. Or take, for example, the Middle East, very Muslim countries. Even though spirituality is deeply ingrained into our lives, it doesn't really feel like it. What most people will study is a Bible. If you're Jewish, it's the Torah. If you're Christian, it's the Bible. Similar things. If you're Muslim, it's the Quran, right? A lot of different books, and they study this and they take the meaning literally, let's say, or not literally, but they take it as they've been taught to take it, right? And they go into prayer, whatever. But I feel that spirituality goes even beyond just what a book says, or what a preacher might say, or what family has taught us. I feel that spirituality has more to do with oneself. And that's why I'm talking about being alone. Because I feel that in those moments when you're alone is when you really get to feel what's going on beyond. Maybe not beyond this world, but rather beyond our perception. Take this, for example. When I meditate, I usually wake up and I like to meditate because I feel that meditation is a great way to stop, to relax, to get away from all the stressors of the day, right? So as soon as I wake up, while I'm still sleepy, while I'm still kind of dreaming, I meditate and I think about the things that affect me or have affected me, or for example, what I dreamt. And in those moments, I feel a certain connection with myself. I talked about this with my grandma earlier on, and I feel that dreams are the gateway to the subconscious. We have this aspect of us, or this, I don't know how to describe it, but this subconscious that's constantly listening, constantly doing, constantly letting us know what it feels or what it thinks. Maybe not directly. Like right now, I'm talking into this microphone and I'm probably picking up a lot of different things, but maybe I'm not thinking about it directly. It's later on, once I go to sleep or once I'm in that state of almost sleep, that I get to see more clearly what I truly feel. I've had very powerful dreams. And I say powerful because these dreams have woken me up and have made me think to myself, whoa, why did I dream this? And I've had these dreams, and for a long time, I didn't really accept them. I kind of thought, oof, what a weird dream. I'm going to forget about it. But then recently, I started writing them down and really analyzing them. And I realized that these are messages from the subconscious, and even more so, our souls, who we are. That's at least my theory. And they've helped me learn valuable lessons. Valuable lessons about myself, my relationship to my relationship with my family, with the outside world. I noticed that I put a lot of attention and a lot of power into what other people thought of me. And that's completely normal. You know, we grow up thinking about, oh, what would this person say? Or what would this group of people say? And that could be our family or friends or acquaintances, whatever. I've given them a lot of power. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that maybe it's not good for me to give them a lot of power. The more power I give what other people think, the less I get to live my own life, you know? And I want to live I am living my own life, you know? That's actually something that I try not to say want or wish. Because saying I want or saying I wish is saying I don't have or I'm not. But I am. I am living my own life. And that's important. It's important to be here in the moment. But going back to the dreams. These dreams taught me a lot about myself and my relationship to the world around me. And it all came from this connection with my inner self. the thing that keeps my heart beating, or my feelings coming and going. For a long time, I felt that anxiety wasn't good, or that fear or sadness wasn't good, that they were bad emotions. But recently, I started thinking about it differently. These emotions are messengers. It's like, for example, you're the king in medieval England, I don't know, and you have an X amount of, I don't know, messengers that are always coming and going. They're going to one part of this kingdom, one part of the other, and they're always bringing you back news. You have happiness and excitement, let's say. Let's say those are two messengers. And whenever you see them, you feel elated. You feel like, wow, I can't wait to hear what they're going to tell me, right? But then you see sadness and anxiety come. And most of the time, I've tried to ignore them. I've tried to say, I don't want to hear what you want to tell me. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear what you want to tell me because I don't want to feel sad. But just because we ignore the emotion doesn't mean that we stop feeling it. And that's something that I realized lately, that sadness and anxiety and those emotions that tend to have an impact on us are bringing us a message. And it's good to listen to it. It's good because that means we're not running away from it. We're not hiding from that emotion. And not hiding from that emotion, you're accepting that what it's saying is valid, you know? I felt anxious about what people think of me, for example. And I always try to suppress that feeling because I didn't want to feel it. I already felt bad enough with the way that other people saw me. I didn't want to sit down and listen to myself, you know? But then I stopped and I said, I'm okay with feeling this anxiety. I'm okay with feeling fear. Let me listen to what you have to tell me. And that anxiety helped me realize that maybe I was giving too much power to these people. People that maybe were close to me at one point, but that weren't really looking for the best for me. And that doesn't mean that they're not good people. There's a big probability they are. You know, they might just not know it. I feel that we're all beings of light, of love, of whatever you want to call it. And we don't realize it. So we might make mistakes. We might act as if we weren't beings of love, as if that wasn't what we were constantly sharing in this world. And we make mistakes. And mistakes are also good because they teach us. They say, hey, maybe this isn't the way. Maybe it's better to go down another path. And that's okay too. But what I'm trying to say is that emotions are valid and they're important. And chances are the message that they're trying to tell you is real. And it might be the case. A lot of the time, we don't want to listen to it because we kind of know what it's telling us, and we don't want that to be the case. But in my opinion, it's better to be honest and to deal with the things when they happen. I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to honesty. I haven't been honest a few times, not even a few times, many times. I haven't been honest because I thought honesty would do me more harm than good. But with time, I've realized that honesty isn't a bad thing. Honesty is the best gift that you can give to anybody, even if you feel that that person doesn't deserve it. That's the thing, deserve. Deserve is an interesting word. Do we deserve this? Do we deserve that? I feel that regardless of how others treat you, it's important to always be yourself. And for me, being myself means loving myself and letting that love radiate beyond me to others, to the world, to nature, to whatever blessing is around me in that moment. So even if a person isn't the best, it doesn't mean that I have to stoop down to their level, or rather that I have to pretend I'm something I'm not and act out. And that's something that I heard a lot growing up, especially in Catholicism, with the golden rule. Or I don't know if it was a golden rule, but it was that saying that if somebody hits you on the left cheek, turn the right cheek. And I know it's not left, right, but you know what I mean. Religion isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, a lot of people have interpreted it in many different ways, and I feel that that has led to maybe not the best beliefs, some beliefs that do tend to limit the way that we see the world. But the point is that spirituality is something that I hold deeply within, that I feel guides me, just as mental health does and physical health. After this, I'm going to the gym. And it's not because I want other people to see, but rather it's because I know that it benefits me. And it took me a long time to realize that. I'm still learning to this day, and I make a lot of mistakes. I learn a lot of lessons, let's say. But if there's something I've learned from my mom, it's that learning is important and it's an essential part of growing up and being, a human being, right? And that's how I want to leave off this video. I know it wasn't too long, but sometimes you don't need things to be extended. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. And wherever you are, whenever this might be, this moment that you're hearing this, I send you good energy so that you may enjoy the rest of whatever time you're in. I'll see you guys in the next video on this channel. Remember, there are other cool videos to check out. A lot of mental themes, spiritual themes, book themes, music themes, cities. We talked about Montreal and Toronto in one of those episodes. Check those out. Those are pretty cool videos. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.